So this one's quite difficult. This is the Gene Krupa range. So make a range that has two step sizes. Make a list that instead of having evenly spaced steps, has odd steps be one size and even steps be another. Now this is quite hard, so I'm going to go through this, but I'm not coding this one completely from memory. I've got my crib sheet here, but I'm going to try and go through it the way that you would do it. But I would imagine that in order to get this to work, you'd probably want to do some like diagramming, thinking about things, and there's a lot of variables that are here just to keep track of things. So first thing we're going to need is a place to put the stuff. So I'm going to call that Gene's beats. Gene's beats equals an empty list. So we know we're going to need that. And then we are going to need a loop of some sort to do this, but we don't know how long this loop is going to be. We're just going to keep going until we fill it up. So if we don't know much about the loop yet, it's best to use a while loop, or it seems most obvious to use a while loop. So let's say while, and then we're going to need some way of stopping the while loop. So we're going to need another variable called latest. So what we're going to do with that is we're going to keep adding the value to that. So keep incrementing the value of latest. And so we can keep track of what the number we're adding is. So we can start that off with start. Okay, so we can say latest equals start. The first thing that's going to go into that list is going to be start. So we can say while latest is less than stop. S-T-O-P. OP, there we go. So while latest is less than stop, we're going to do some stuff. So first thing we need to do is put start into Gene's beats. So Gene's beats dot append latest. Okay, so what that will do is it will pop start onto the beginning of that list. There's a few places in this that we could have put that, but I like putting it just there for some reason. I'm not sure exactly why. Okay, so now we're at a point where we've put the first thing on the list, but we're never going to get any bigger, so we're going to need to count the beats, so the number of beats that we've put in there. Now we could do it by counting Gene's beats, but let's just be explicit about it and make a little counter. We'll call that beat, so what beat we're on, and we'll say beat equals 0. So to know which one we're on, we'll say beat plus equals 1. And plus equals is the same thing as saying beat equals beat plus 1. It's just a shorter way of saying it. So I can take that bit and get rid of it and put the plus there instead. Now in between here, we have to decide how much we're going to add to the value. So do we add an even step or an odd step? And we've done this test before. The very first example in week 2 was to work out whether we had an even number or an odd number. So we can say if beat, and we need to know which beat we're on, so we know if it's an odd or an even beat. Mod 2 equals 0. So if that's true, which means it's an even beat, then latest plus equals, so we're adding to latest again, even step. Okay, and then else colon latest equals odd step. And then at the end, once we've got all that, we can return Gene's beats. So let me walk you through what's happening here. First thing we do is we define latest to be equal to start. Then we make a bucket to put Gene's beats into. So let's put that first, because we like think about this in these sorts of orders. So while we have these lines, let's think about it. Gene's beats is a bucket that we put things into. It's like a container that holds the things. Then latest equals start means that we're going to start off, the first value in the list should be start, and then we can say that beat equals 0, so we're on beat 0, and then while latest is less than stop. So if we haven't got to stop yet, then keep adding. If we have got to stop, then we just stop, and we'll jump out of the while loop and get to this return section. So Gene's beats dot append latest. Now the first time we go through, latest will be start, and so we'll pop start into the bucket, and then we'll go through this stuff, and we're going to add a value, we're going to add a number to latest. So if we're on beat number 0, that will count as being an even step, and so we'll put that into latest. So we're going to add even step to latest. So if we start with, let's say 1, and the even steps are 3, we'll go up to 4 at that point. And if we were on step 1, which is an odd step, we would add the other value, which might be 2 or might be 5 or something like that. And then when we've done that, we add 1 to the beats, so we know that we're now on the next beat. Now remember that latest is stored. We keep that through the loops, so we can put it back onto here. Now it would make no difference at all if we did that at the end. Actually it would. Actually it needs to be up at the top. Don't worry about what I'm just saying there. Anyway, we keep doing that, and eventually we'll get to the point where latest is bigger than stop, and then we jump out of the loop and return Gene's beats. So let's just check that runs in the tests. Let's do a bit of scrolling. There we go. And it does pass. Actually, I think I over scrolled there. Let's run them again just to check that I'm not. Scroll a bit slower. Here we go. Gene Krupa Range, and it works. So that's good. Okay, that seems to be working.